All right, so today we are learning how do I multiply polynomials.
So just a reminder, back in the last section, section 6.1, we were adding and subtracting polynomials. Notice there our exponents were not changing when we were adding or subtracting.
We're just combining the like terms
right,
that way.
so the coefficients in front we were adding or subtracting. Now, when you're multiplying a polynomial, first of all, notice on our first example, when you multiply a polynomial by a monomial, you're going to use the distributive property and properties of exponents, which basically means when you multiply two variables together, you're going to add the exponents. Okay? So I'm going to scroll down for you so Miss Boyd has a little more room here.
Okay.
So there we go, example 1.
Well, 4 times anything in front is just 1, would just be 4. And then our y's, we add the exponents, which is 4, plus 4 times 3 is 12, and we just bring the y squared along. And we are done.
And that's it. And we can't keep going because there's no like terms. Y to the fourth and y squared are different. So let's go down and scroll down here to number 2. Okay. Now notice it's a little more tricky,
yes.
But I think we can do this.
We can. All right, so we're going to go here first. So we have a 6. I like to put the numbers first. So I have 6. Then x squared, because there's no other x's we're multiplying by. And then this time y, this is really to the 1. So y1 times y to the third would just be y to the, nope, we're adding.
Yep, good job. y to the,
so it'd be y to the 4th.
Okay, we got the first one done, distributive. Does that look like a 4?
Yeah, it sure does, but I'll just change it for you.
Okay.
She's so picky. All right, now we're going to multiply this one. So there are no numbers. We'll bring our x squared and y to the 1
plus 2 is 3.
Now, I like to change this to a plus negative. Is that okay with you?
That's totally fine.
All right. So plus, now we're coming this way. So we got a negative 28. No x's, so we're just bringing that x squared. And now this time we have a y to the 1
times y to the 1, which is y squared.
Plus, we got to do the last one. Here's our number 30. There's nothing else with it, so we just bring the x squared y. You could say to the 1, but I'm just going to say that.
Now, what I do now, before I go on, I look to see, do I have any like terms? So what do you think, Miss Boyd? If we look, do we have any like terms? X squared y to the 4th, there's only 1. X squared y to the 3rd, x squared y squared, and x squared y. There are no like terms. So the question that I get asked every year is, how do I know the order to put this in? When there is more than one variable in your answer, an x and a y, an x and a z, whatever it may be, you cannot put it in standard form. So Miss Boyd and I will accept any order. We will look for your terms to make sure they're there.
I do like, however, putting your x's first and then your y's in your term.
Oh, definitely.
But then after that, we'll just...
So when there's one variable, you can put it in standard form.
Okay.
All right, should we go on?
Yeah.
So we just multiplied a monomial by a polynomial. Now we're going to multiply two polynomials. So notice the difference. Remember, a monomial means one term. A polynomial means 2 or more terms. So we're going to use the distributive property and multiply each term in the second polynomial by each term in the first. Okay, so I kind of follow, see the process they go through there? Now keep in mind that if one polynomial has m terms and the other has n terms, then the product has m times n terms before it is simplified. We'll go over that because I think they're probably confused in what I just said.
And you can use the box method with this, which I can show in class.
Let's do that in class,
just because I think it helps keep me organized.
And that's fine. So let's use, when we do this, let's use arrows, one color, and then arrows for the second. Are you good with that?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to scroll down. There we go.
All right. So our first one is a times 2. Well, that's just 2a.
Correct.
Then we do a times a negative 5a.
Right.
So that's negative 5a squared.
Yep.
Because that's really a 1 and that's really a 1.
Correct.
All right, and then a
times
a squared,
which is a
to the third.
cubed. Right.
All right.
Now we'll change our colors.
Now we have to do -3 times 2.
Which is -6.
6.
-3 times
-5a is
a
negative.
positive
negative times a negative is positive.
15a.
I'm saying
And
5. I wrote 15. Oh, my brain is slow on Christmas break. All right.
And a -3 times a squared. It's going to be negative 3a squared. Well, guess what we're going to do now?
We have some like terms.
You bet we do. Okay.
All right, let's look at our, I like to start with the highest number.
Definitely, because there's one variable, so you can put it in standard form. A cubed. Yep.
All right.
Should we cross them off as we go? Okay.
Yep, you like doing that.
I do. All
right, we have -5a squared and a -3a squared.
Right.
So that's -8.
And you add, because you have a -5 and a -3, you're going to add.
All right.
And then you have...
And we have 2a.
And
2a.
2a. That's right.
2a plus 15a is plus 17a. So
and
that's gone. And we're left over with this
-6. Now, okay, let me ask a question. How many terms are in our answer right now?
I see 1, 2, 3, 4.
Correct. So I want to give you guys, when I read that little statement, I'm going to scroll up a minute. I'm going to explain what this statement means right now, because it's a good check as you're going through. Before you simplify it, I should have asked you that. How many terms do we have before we simplified?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay. How many terms are in our first polynomial?
2.
Okay, so can you write 2 somewhere? And how many terms are in our second?
3.
What is 2 times 3?
6.
And how many terms do we have before we simplified?
6.
That's a good check. Always will work.
Good.
So they always can check before they simplify.
Okay.
Okay, are we ready? All right, then let's go. Now, okay, we have an example 4, and ooh, I think example 4 we should say for class, right?
Sure.
Don't you think? Because it's a 2-term times a 3-term. Oh, and yeah, but see here we have a 3 times a 3. Ooh, don't you think we should probably go through that now?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay, so let's do example 5. Same rule applies.
Yep, it's just going to get messy.
Right.
So x squared times x squared.
And maybe we better write down a little lower because we have all those different,
Yep. So we'll have x
to the 4th. Yeah.
Then x squared times 5x is 5x to the third. And x squared times -2
is -2x squared. Great, let's change our
our
color.
Next color. -4 times x squared.
And it's negative. The sign's in front of the 4.
X to the third.
Right?
-4x times 5x is a
-20x squared. And -4x times -2 is a positive 8x. Very good.
All right, last one. 1 times x squared.
Is x squared.
1. Oh boy, I started going a different way. 1 times 5x.
Is 5x.
Yes,
This one's really
5x.
easy.
And
1 times -2 is a -2.
-2.
Okay, so right now let's do a quick check.
Okay.
How many terms do we have?
3. Here, 3 here.
3 times
So
3
we
is?
should have 9.
So let's
total.
count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I would always do that.
Checks out.
Good.
We're
Let's combine like terms. Highest exponent,
All right.
x
is
to the 4th.
third. Oh yeah.
And there's only one of them. So let's write it.
X to the 4th.
Cross it off.
Done.
Now we have cubed. We have 5x cubed. We have -4x cubed. And that is it. 5 minus 4 is 1 plus x cubed. X squared. We have -2x squared. We have -20x squared. And we have x squared. So a -2 minus 20
It's a -22.
plus 1 is a -21x squared. Cross and cross and cross. And then you have an 8x and a 5x, which is a 13x minus 2.
It's just 2. And we're done.
We're done. Right? And
So
go ahead.
it looks really hard and complicated, but
But
it's
it really
not.
isn't. It's pretty
No, you just have to
straightforward.
go slow.
Yeah. Okay. Example 6. We really better go through example 6 because They just don't get what we mean by this. We did do an example in
We
class
did.
before break. If it says expand each expression, let's
Yes.
show what not to do.
Okay, do not just distribute this in and tell me that it's x to the third plus 2 to the third.
That's a no-no.
That is not correct.
So don't do it.
Don't do that.
Okay.
All
So we're just going to erase it because we don't want you to do
I don't
it.
like that.
So expand means there's 3 of them. So you're going to write it out 3 times. X plus 2, x plus 2, x plus 2. Now, guess what you're going to do now?
Double FOIL.
Yep. So let's start with the first 2.
Okay. X times x.
X squared.
X times 2 is now
2x.
2 times x is 2x.
Right.
And 2 times 2 is
4. Exactly.
I'm
And
going to simplify this.
I would
So we have x squared plus 4x
plus
plus,
4.
plus 4.
Put that in parentheses.
Yes, because now
we have to multiply it
bring
by
this down.
x plus 2. And now let me just say one thing.
Sure.
It does not matter that Miss Boyd and I multiplied the first 2 together and then saved the third for last. Sometimes in
fine,
class,
whatever.
I'm going to multiply the second 2 together and then distribute the first. It does not matter.
All right.
Okay, here we go.
So x squared times x is x to the third.
Mm-hmm.
X squared times 2 is
2x squared.
x squared.
Yep.
So 4x times x is
4x squared
4x squared. 4x times 2
is 8x.
8x. And lastly,
4 times x is 4x. And 4 times 2 is 8. And again, we have 3 terms in our first, 2 in our second. 3 times 2 is 6. And there are 6 terms right there.
4, 5, 6.
Let's
All right.
simplify. X cubed.
Done.
2x squared plus 4x squared is 6x squared. Done. 8x plus 4x is 12x.
And
Plus,
just the 8.
for the fun of it, Miss Boyd, let's name this polynomial.
Oh, that's so fun.
So the degree is
To the
3.
So it is cubic. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4.
And remember,
So it's
polynomial with
with
4
terms.
terms.
That's some crazy fun you just had.
Didn't we?
Miss Young.
I know. Let's go to the next one. We are gonna wait
Yeah, let's wait.
for class for that one. And I knew this was it. So, number 1, find each product. You guys should be able to do this
you're just
easy
distributing.
peasy. And there's your multiple choice options. And number 2, find each product. Same
Let's
thing, distribute. See you
Bye.
tomorrow.